Hey everyone, welcome back to Code with Poonam. It's day 59 of our 100 days of coding challenge in JavaScript. Today's challenge focuses on swapping the values of two variables using a temporary variable, okay? So let's proceed with this challenge and we will move towards our VS Code. If we see in the VS Code, we have here our question along with the sample input and output, okay? So let us read the question that we have to write a JavaScript function that swaps the values of two variables using a temporary variable, okay? And if we see here, we have the input example also. What is the input? A is equal to 3, B is equal to 7. And in the output, what we have? A is equal to 7 and B is equal to 3, right? So the values have been swapped. But here we have to use a temporary variable, okay? So let us proceed with this. So let us come here and we will break down this particular question. So we will write here what first? JS function, okay? Why JavaScript function? Because we have to write a function, correct? After that, what is the next important part? That we have to swap the values of two variables, right? So let us take and we will put it over here. Now, what is the next important part here? That we have to swap the two variables, but we have to use a temporary variable, right? So let us take here that as well, okay? Now, since this question is asking to swap the values, right, of two variables, so we will come here and we will define our function name as what? Swap values, okay? So I will write it like this with a parenthesis, okay? And they have said you have to take a temporary variable. So what we will do, we will take a variable here called as a temp. Okay, so let us declare it and keep it. So I will write here what? Let temp, okay? Like this, okay? Now let us come down and we will understand the approach for swapping the values of two variables using a temporary variable, okay? So let us come down and we will write here what? Approach, okay? Now in this question, we are going to consider this as our input, okay? What is the input? A is equal to 3 and B is equal to 7, okay? Now, if you see here, they have said using a temporary variable, right? So for that, we declared a variable called as a temp. So let us take that variable here, okay? Now, what is the use of this temporary variable? What it is going to store? This temporary variable will be used to store the value of the first variable during the swap, okay? So value of the first variable, it is going to store. What is the first variable value? That is nothing but the 3. So how it will store? We will use a assignment operator. What we will do? Temp is equal to A we will write. So what will happen? It will store 3, right? So temp will have now 3 as a value assigned to it, okay? Now, what is we are going to do in the next case? Now, in this, the first variable, we are going to assign the value of the second variable, okay? So, what is the first variable? A is the first variable, and in this, we will assign the value of the second variable. What is the value of the second variable? That is 7. How we can assign it? We will assign here what? A is equal to B, right? So, then only it will become what? A is equal to 7. So if you see the output, we got the output as A is equal to 7. So that is what we have done here. Now, one more time, we are going to assign the value. Okay, but where and what? Now we have to update the value of B as well, right? So what we will do, we will come here and we will assign the temporary variable to the second variable. So we will write here what? B is equal to 10. Now, what is our B value? B value was 7, right? Now, what is the temp value? Temp value is 3. So, B is equal to temp means B is equal to 3 will happen right here. So, I will write here what? B is equal to 3. So, from B is equal to 7, it became B is equal to 3 because we used a assignment operator to update the value of it. So, if you see here what we got here A is equal to what? 7, okay? And then we got what? B is equal to 3. If you see the output, we have reached to this particular output, right? So what we have done, we have swapped the values, right? First, it was A is equal to 3 and B is equal to 7. Now it is what? A is equal to 7 and B is equal to 3. And finally, we will log the swapped values, okay? So in this case, we have declared a temporary variable. In this temporary variable, we are storing the value of the first variable, okay? After that, in the first variable, what we are doing? We are assigning the value of our second variable, right? And in the second variable, we are assigning the value of our temporary variable, and hence our values are swapped. So what we have done, temp is equal to A is equal to B, and B is equal to temp, right? This is what is the final approach we are going to do it. Now let us come down and we will implement the same thing in our function also, okay? So let us write our function. So I will write here what function, and our function name will be what? Swap values, right? And let us quickly invoke it. So I will write here what? Swap values, right? And in this we are going to pass what? 3 comma 7. Okay. So we will write here 3 comma 7. And let us receive here as a params as what? A comma B, right? So what this will be? I will write here params. Okay. And this is what 3 comma 7 is nothing but arguments. Okay. Now let us come here and we will just console it out. So I will write here what? Console.log A comma B. And now just let us test in the terminal whatever the argument we are passing, this function is able to receive it or not. Okay. So let us write here what? Node day 59 challenge. Okay. And we will hit enter. What we got? We got here 3 comma 7, right? So let us come here and we will start swapping the values of the two variable using a temporary variable. Okay. So what we will write? We will declare our first temporary variable, let temp, and then what we are going to do? Temp is equal to A, correct? After that, what we will do? A is equal to B, right? And then we are going to do what? B is equal to temp, correct? And then finally, let us come down and let us console it one more time, the A and B values. Let us see what we get. So I will write here what? Console.log A comma B, okay? Now let us come here and we will test it again. So note day 59 challenge and we will hit enter, right? What we got? 7 comma 3. So we can see here clearly that we have swapped the values. First it was 3 comma 7. Now it is what? 7 comma 3. Now let us improvise our console.log statement and we will frame it in a proper sentence. Okay. So let us use our template literal syntax and we will wrap this inside dollar and flower braces. So let us come here and put dollar and flower braces to the A and same dollar flower braces to the B also. Okay. And what we will write before swap, I will write here before swap. Okay. A is equal to, we will write, okay. And we will write here what? We'll remove this comma and I will write here what? And B is equal to, okay. This is we are going to write. Let us do the same thing here as well. So I will put here template literal syntax and let us wrap inside our dollar and flower braces first to A and B. So I will write here what? Dollar flower braces to the A and dollar flower braces to the B as well. And we will write here after swap, okay. So let us write here after swap. A is equal to, okay, let us write this and we will remove this comma and here also we will write and B is equal to, let us write it like this and let us put space here as well and now let us test it in the terminal, okay. So we will clear the terminal and we will write here what? Node day 59 challenge and we will hit enter. So what we got? Before swap A is equal to 3 and B is equal to 7 and after swap A is equal to 7 and B is equal to 3. If you see, we have clearly executed this and whatever the approach we wrote, the same thing we have written inside our function. So we have implemented this successfully and we are getting it, right? So now let us come here and try with another input as well. So I will write here what? Swap values and let us write here 10 comma 30, okay. And let us retest it. So I will write here what? Node day 59 challenge and we will hit enter. What I get? A is equal to 10, B is equal to 30, right? Before swapping. After swapping, A is equal to 30 and B is equal to 10. So any two values, if you are passing it while invocation, it is going to perform it correctly, okay? Now let us have a quick recap of this question, okay? So let us read out one more time the question. We have to write what? A JS function, correct? That swaps the values of two variables using a temporary variable, correct? And here we had our input and output, right? After that, what we did in line number 7, 8, and 9, we took the important chunks of the question, right? First, we had to write a JS function. So wherein we defined our function name as what? Swap values, right? After that, what we did at line number 8, we wrote what is the exact thing we have to do. So swap the values of the two variables using a temporary variable. So that is where we thought our temporary variable name will be temp. So we declared it here, right? Then at line number 12, we wrote our approach And for that, we use the sample input, right, which was been provided. A is equal to 3, B is equal to 7, right? Then we declared our temporary variable, right? Why? Because they said you have to swap the values of these two variables using a temporary variable, right? So we declared a temporary variable, and now this temporary variable will be used to store the value of the first variable during the swap, right? So that is what we have done. Temp is equal to A, and A value is 3. That is where you are getting temp is equal to 3, right? Now, after that, what we have done in our first variable, what is our first variable? That is nothing but the A. So, in the first variable, we are assigning the value of the second variable by using what? Assignment operator. What is the assignment operator? Is equal to, right? So, that is what we have done. So, A is equal to B we have done, and we are getting what? A is equal to 7, okay? Now, after that, what we did in the second variable also, we have assigned the value of our temporary variable by using a assignment operator itself. So we did here what? B is equal to temp, and that is where we got B is equal to 3. So if you see, that is what is our output, right? A is equal to 7 and B is equal to 3, right? So we have successfully swapped the values, right? And then finally we have to log our swapped values, right? Then the same thing we wrote inside our function as well, right? So we came at line number 21 and we defined our function name as what? Swapped values, right? And we are passing the params here A comma B because we have to ensure that we are passing the two values and receiving the two values, correct? Then we just consoled our the statement that before swap, what is the value? So that is what we have consoled at line number 22. And same thing we have done. Let temp, and then temp is equal to A is equal to B, and B is equal to temp, right? After all this thing, we have again consoled our statement that what is happening after the swap. So we have wrote here what? After swap, what will be the A value and what will be the B value, right? Then at line number 29 and 30, we have invoked, right? So we are passing the values 3 comma 7 at line number 29. At line number 30, we are passing what? 10 comma 30. Now, if we consider this particular input, what is happening? Temp stores the value of A, that is nothing but 3. Then A is updated to the value of B, that is nothing but 7. And B later on gets updated with the value of temp, that is nothing but our 3, right? So final result is what? A is equal to 7 and B is equal to 3. Similarly, for this invocation also, it is happening the same thing. So let us come here in the terminal. We will clear the terminal and rerun it. So I will write here what? Node day 59 challenge, and we will hit enter. Now let us see, for both the invocations we have done, we are getting the correct output, right? So that is what it was expected from us, and we have successfully achieved as well. Now I will tell you why this challenge is important, guys. This traditional method introduces the concept of temporary variables, which are crucial in programming. It is useful in the situations where modern ES6 features like destructuring are not available. Also, guys, we have done this challenge using the destructuring as well. It's a day 58 challenge. So I want you all to please visit that as well and see what is a difference between if you use a destructuring and if you don't use a destructuring. If you're using a destructuring, then no need of a temporary variable. If you're not using a destructuring, then you have to use a temporary variable. So that is what I said. It is useful in the situations where destructuring is not available, okay? So you can try both the ways and you can let me know in the comment as well which one was the best one, okay? And also, I want you to tell you, always name your variables clearly, like using temp. If you're using temporary variable, use it a clear variable. Don't give a vague names, okay? Give a proper name. So if you have seen through the challenges, whatever we have done, we are clearly using the variable specific to the challenges, right? So why we are doing so? Because it helps us to improve the code readability and debugging. So I want you also should do the same, okay? That's it for today, guys. Keep learning and keep coding, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel for more exciting content. I will see you tomorrow with a new coding challenge. So thank you so much, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.